Crossing time falling for the prince.
Leyland, a modern Thai office girl, obsessed with ancient Chinese dramas, gets sucked into a mysterious painting and wakes up as a stranger in an ancient kingdom. What starts as a desperate struggle to survive turns into something totally unexpected. She captures the attention and heart of Prince Longyu, the cold and stoic third prince, who never believed in love two hearts. Suddenly, he finds himself protecting this strange, outspoken woman, who turns his world upside down. Amid court intrigues, battles for the throne, and hidden secrets of the kingdom, can Leyland find her way back to her own world? Or will her heart make her choose a completely different destiny? This story has it all: romance, comedy, martial arts, palace schemes, and heart-fluttering moments. Get ready to cross time and fall in love right alongside her.
Chapter 9. Princess Lian tries to get rid of her.
At Princess Lian's chambers, brewing jealousy, Princess Lian clenched her fan so tightly, her knuckles turned white, eyes flashing like sharpened daggers, as she stared at the spy's report in her hands. That mysterious maid, she hissed in her mind. Not only did she escape Prince Qingyu's trap, but she's now under the personal protection of Prince Longyu. The spy, kneeling before her, spoke in a low, trembling voice. "Your Highness, I observed. His Highness the Third Prince treats her unusually, and on the night before, he touched her face without hesitation. Your Highness." Clang, collision. The fan in Lian's hand fell with a loud smack against the table. Her heart seethed with a fiery jealousy. Impossible. Prince Longyu has never so much as laid a hand on any woman. Why does he let this maid near him so easily? Lian shot up from her seat, her robe swirling like a storm around her feet. I will not let her stay another minute in this palace. At the third prince's residence, a trap unfolds. Lin, still tangled in the confusing swirl of her own emotions, wandered absent-mindedly through the palace garden under the late morning sun. But before she could realize it, thud, a line of eunuchs and handmaidens blocked her path. Their uniforms bore the unmistakable emblem of Princess Lian. "Are you the maid from the third prince's residence?" one of the handmaidens asked coolly, her voice sharp as a knife. Leyland blinked rapidly. "Huh? Are they here to start trouble?" "Yes, that's me. May I help you?" she replied as politely as she could, trying to suppress the rising panic in her chest. The handmaiden's smile was thin, almost predatory. "Princess Lian has summoned you. You are to come with us now." Gasp. "Oh no, I'm in trouble. Aren't I?" At Princess Lian's residence, a ruthless display. Inside the grand hall, Princess Lian sat cross-legged upon her elevated throne, her eyes sharp as daggers as she gazed down at Lin standing below. "You are the one constantly by the third prince's side, aren't you?" she asked, her voice cold and calculated. Leyland hurriedly bowed low. "I am merely an ordinary maid, Your Highness." Lian let out a soft, mocking laugh, her voice dripping with contempt. "Humph, then you should know your place." "Whoa, this is noblewoman-style intimidation. Huh?" Leyland clenched her fists at her sides, forcing herself to stay composed. The princess rose gracefully, stepping closer, her eyes gleaming with icy pressure. "I'll ask you once more. Do you harbor feelings for him?" Lin froze. "Ah, how am I supposed to answer that?" But before she could even open her mouth, Princess Lian flicked her gaze toward her guards. "Throw her into the pond." "Wait, what?" Before Leyland could react, two guards seized her arms. She struggled desperately. "Hold on. We can talk this out." Splash, sweat droplets, cold, icy water enveloped her in an instant. Leyland gasped, flailing as the weight of her soaked clothes pulled her down, deeper and deeper, above the water. Princess Lian's voice rang out with cruel finality. "Remember this. The third prince belongs to me, and you will never stand by his side." At the Forbidden Pond, a desperate rescue. "Your Highness, Leyland has been thrown into the Forbidden Pond." Bang, collision. The delicate folding fan in Prince Longyu's hand shattered. As it struck the floor, he shot up from his seat, his usually composed eyes now burning with deadly determination. Byaxian, standing nearby, gasped. "What? My junior has been tossed into the water? What are we waiting for?" Longyu didn't waste a single breath. With a swift motion, he stormed out of the residence, his robes billowing behind him, as he raced toward the pond at lightning speed. At the Forbidden Pond, splash! Without hesitation, Long Yu plunged into the chilling depths, his body cutting through the water like a spear. His sharp eyes darted through the murky darkness, desperately seeking the faint silhouette of Leyland sinking below. No, I will not let anything happen to you. The water's cold pierced his skin, but he ignored it. His hand shot forward, and just as Leyland's figure began to drift further into the abyss, his fingers closed firmly around her wrist. With a powerful kick, he propelled them both upward, breaking through the water's surface. In a rush of air and droplets, "Leyland, wake up!" Long Yu's voice cracked with urgency as he pulled her into his arms, holding her close against his chest. Her eyelashes fluttered weakly, droplets sliding down her pale cheeks. Xian arrived at the edge, eyes wide. "Whoa, I never thought I'd see His Highness look like this." Finally, he grasped Leyland's wrist and yanked her up with a surge of strength. Leyland coughed violently, choking as water spluttered from her lips. She barely had time to steady herself before strong arms wrapped tightly around her, pulling her into the firm embrace of Prince Longyu. "Are you insane?" His deep voice rumbled low beside her ear, his breath hot against her soaked skin. Leyland lifted her tear-filled eyes to meet his, still gasping for air. I didn't want to fall in, you know." Longyu clenched his jaw, his sharp gaze flickering with a mix of anger and worry, emotions he himself struggled to hide. His grip around her tightened, his heart beat loud and clear between them. "From now on," he whispered in a voice rough with suppressed emotion, "I will never let anyone touch you again." Leyland's eyes widened, her heart pounding so hard it felt like it might burst from her chest. Why does this feel like a confession?" Princess Lian gripped her fan so tightly, her fingers turned white, fury radiating from every inch of her elegant form. Her sharp nails dug into the delicate silk as she hissed through clenched teeth, "That wretched girl, and now Longyu dives in himself to save her? This can't go on. She must die." The flames of jealousy and hatred burned hotter in her chest. She paced back and forth, her beautiful robes sweeping the floor like coiled serpents. "Prepare the next plan," she ordered coldly, her voice like ice laced with venom. "This time, she won't escape." In Prince Longyu's chambers, after pulling Lin from the forbidden well, Longyu wasted no time summoning court physicians and maids to tend to her. Now, he sat quietly by her bedside, his sharp eyes fixed on her pale face, never once looking away. Nearby, Xian leaned casually against the doorframe, arms crossed, a teasing smile playing on his lips. "My little junior survived. And yet your highness still wears that grim face?" Longyu didn't respond. His jaw was clenched, his fingers curling slowly into a fist on his knee. His dark eyes burned with quiet fury. "This won't be left unpunished." His voice was cold, each word sharp like a blade of ice. Xian raised an eyebrow, smirking. "And what exactly do you plan to do?" Longyu's gaze sharpened, the corner of his mouth tightening. "Princess Lian will answer for this." His voice dropped lower, steel laced in every syllable. "She will learn that no one touches Leyland without paying the price." In Lalan's bedchamber, Lalan awoke in the middle of the night, the comforting warmth of the heavy blanket wrapped around her like a protective cocoon. Her long lashes fluttered slowly before she turned her head to take in her surroundings, and the first thing she saw was the third prince, asleep in a chair right beside her bed. "What? Is he really sitting there, watching over me?" Her lips parted in shock, and her heart began to pound without warning as she struggled to process what she was seeing. A deep, low voice broke the silence. "You're awake." Longyu slowly opened his eyes, the sharp glint in them catching the soft glow of the lantern beside the bed. He looked at her wordlessly, his gaze unreadable yet strangely calming. Lalan quickly composed herself. Yes, your highness. I'm awake." Have you been here the whole time?" The third prince didn't answer her directly. Instead, he said in an even tone, "You were having trouble breathing in your sleep. I didn't want anything to happen to you again." "Oh no, why does he suddenly feel so warm and gentle?" She struggled to find something to say in return, but before she could speak, Longyu reached out with his warm hand and gently touched her forehead. "You still have a fever. Don't try to get up." Lalan's cheeks flushed deep red, her heart pounding so wildly it nearly leapt from her chest. Good heavens! What happened to the usual cold and aloof prince? Why is he being so tender? In the imperial court, at dawn, the great hall echoed with murmurs. As the ministers gathered, all eyes turned as Prince Longyu rose from his throne, his expression as cold as marble. I hereby declare before this court, he said sharply, that Princess Lian has committed a malicious act against one of my personal attendants. I demand that she be held accountable. Princess Lian. His voice was like frost against steel. Your conduct has crossed the line. The hall fell into stunned silence. Did you truly believe I would let this matter go unpunished? Lian's face turned pale as parchment. Your Highness, I merely tried to kill an innocent girl? His tone dropped to a chilling growl, more terrifying than a blade at one's throat. Unless you have a justification worth hearing, you should prepare to face the consequences. Oh no, is he actually defending me? In front of the entire court? Lalan, standing silently by the side, felt like sinking into the floor as dozens of noble eyes turned toward her. Once the court session concluded, Lalan returned to her chambers, utterly drained from the ordeal. She barely made it to the edge of her bed before collapsing in a tired heap. But before she could close her eyes, heavy footsteps echoed outside her door. Bang! The door slid open. Prince Longyu strode in, his sharp eyes locking onto her immediately. Your Highness? Leyland squeaked. Flustered. She had barely recovered from the morning's courtroom spectacle, where he had coldly and openly defended her against Princess Lian. Oh no, what now? My heart hasn't even calmed down yet. Longyu walked up to her, his expression unreadable, his presence towering and intense. Without a word, he reached out and gently lifted her hand, examining the faint bruises left from her ordeal. You're still injured, he murmured, his voice low and tight. You should rest. Let others handle this. Leyland's breath hitched. Why is he being so tender again? This isn't the cold, aloof prince I know. She tried to pull her hand back, stammering, I'm fine, really. But Longyu didn't let go. His gaze softened just slightly as he met her wide, panicked eyes. No, you've been pulled into too much already. From now on, let me protect you. Leyland felt her cheeks blaze red, her heart hammering wildly. Stop looking at me like that. I can't handle this. Leyland sat frozen, her cheeks flushed pink, as Prince Longyu's fingertips gently brushed a lock of her hair aside. His piercing gaze didn't waver, drawing her in closer. You're acting strange today, Your Highness, Leyland stammered, her voice trembling slightly. Her heart pounded so hard, she swore he could hear it. Longyu gave a small, rare smile, the kind that made her breath hitch. Strange? He murmured softly. Or is it simply that I've stopped pretending? This is too much. Is this the cold, stoic prince I know? How did he turn into this romantic, dangerous man? Leyland's mind screamed as she tried to back away, but he gently caught her wrist. Stay. His voice was firm, but his touch was gentle. Just for a little longer, stay by my side. Leyland's face turned bright red. I can't handle this. Somebody save me before I melt into a puddle. Deep inside the royal library, under flickering candlelight, Leyland's hands trembled as she unfurled the ancient scroll, its yellowed paper crackling softly. Her eyes darted across the archaic characters, heart hammering in her chest. In the past, a traveler from another world crossed into this realm. Her breath caught. I'm not the first. There were others like me before. Behind her, Princess Sufei leaned closer, her brows furrowed. What does it say, Leyland? Leyland's voice was shaky. It says, the last traveler changed the fate of the empire, and vanished without a trace. Vanished? Sufei gasped softly. Does it say how or why? Leyland's fingers skimmed down the scroll, eyes wide. It says, when the blood moon rises, the chosen will have to make the ultimate choice. To return, or to stay and rewrite destiny. Leyland staggered back, her mind spinning. Ultimate choice? You're telling me I'll have to decide between going home or changing the fate of this world? Suddenly, a shadow fell across the scroll. Leyland whipped around. Standing in the doorway was Prince Longyu, his piercing gaze locked on her. So, you've found the truth, he murmured, stepping closer. Now tell me, Leyland, if the time comes, will you stay? Leyland's heart clenched. I don't know. Secret tavern in the city, under the pale moonlight. Xian lounged lazily in his seat, a playful smirk tugging at the corner of his lips as his sharp eyes fixed on the shadowed figure across the table. The spy before him, cloaked in black, kept his head low, voice hushed. My lord, I've uncovered proof. Prince Chengyu is linked to the ancient scrolls. The maidservant of Prince Longyu is investigating. Baeksayan's fingers drummed lightly on the wooden table, the rhythm soft but deliberate. So, this isn't just some accidental crossing of paths, is it? The spy gave a subtle nod. Indeed, sir. I also discovered that several ancient records about travelers from another realm are hidden within Prince Changyu's secret chambers. For a heartbeat, Baeksayan was silent. Then, with a glimmer of mischief in his eyes, he slowly raised his cup and took a long sip of wine. Well, things just got a lot more interesting. At Prince Longyu's manor, the air thick with tension, Leyland clutched the edge of her seat, eyes wide as saucers. What? Prince Changyu might be connected to my time travel? Her voice shot up, cracking the heavy silence. Baeksayan chuckled lazily, reclining back with his usual mischievous grin. You might want to keep your voice down, little sister. Yes, I discovered. He's been hoarding ancient records, and they just might hold answers about how you crossed into this world. Longyu, seated nearby, tightened his grip on his folding fan, his cold, sharp eyes darkening. If that's true, then that man knows more than we thought. Leyland swallowed hard, a chill crawling up her spine. Her mind raced as an ominous thought settled in her chest. If Prince Changyu truly knows something about me, then I might be in far more danger than I ever imagined. Inside Prince Changyu's shadowy manor, a storm brewing. Changyu stood tall before the ancient painting hanging solemnly on the wall. An image of a woman from a distant land, her features eerily similar to Leyland. With a slow, deliberate motion, he reached out, fingertips brushing the faded canvas, his thin lips curling into a sinister smirk. It seems, your time is almost here. Footsteps echoed softly behind him. A shadowed guard kneeled low. My lord. She has begun to uncover the truth. Changyu turned, his sharp eyes gleaming dangerously. Then it's time. Send the signal. Let our assassins begin the plan. The guard bowed deep. Yes, my lord. And slipped back into the shadows without a sound, raising his teacup with a calm so cold it sent shivers through the room. Changyu murmured, I will be the one to shape this land's destiny. Not her. And certainly not Prince Longyu. In Lin's room, Leyland sat deep in thought by the window. The ancient scroll still laid open before her, but her eyes no longer moved across the text. The truth she had just uncovered weighed so heavily on her mind that she could not look away. Prince Changyu, how could you possibly know about my journey through time? She wondered anxiously. As she brooded, the night breeze slipped through the open window, sending a chill down her spine. It felt as though something was creeping closer. Above the rooftop of the residence, dark shadows moved silently, inching closer and closer. One figure leapt down, dagger gleaming in hand, ready to strike. But, whoosh, high voltage. A sword flashed in the moonlight, intercepting the blade with perfect precision. A tall figure clad in black appeared at Leyland's side. It was Prince Longyu. Humph, how bold of them, he murmured coldly, his sharp gaze sweeping over the group of assassins. Baeksayan landed nimbly beside him, chuckling softly. I was wondering if you'd make it in time. Seems you've arrived at the perfect moment. Still shocked by the sudden attack, Leyland instinctively clutched Longyu's arm. What is happening? She gasped. Longyu turned to her, his eyes filled with unspoken concern. I warned you, didn't I? Never stay alone. The assassins surged forward again, but this time, Longyu and Baeksayan were ready. Stay tuned for the next chapter. An intense battle unfolds. Please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next episode.